Yishem Adonai Mevorach Ma'ata V'Adonai. May Hashem's name will be blessed forever and ever. I want to wish everybody here, Be'ezrat Hashem, to be always healthy. We'll dedicate this Torah class for speedy recovery, for refuah shelema, all those who need refuah shelema. Please mention their names. מזל שלום ציון בת שולה סלמה בתור שחור לעם ישראל בעזרת השם ללמוד תורה הזה לפועתם ולפותם לחתם וטוב לעמוד ישראל וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. So we're going to talk today. We finish about the Kiddush and then we'll talk about a very common question that people are asking me all the time. Rabbi, I heard the Kiddush in someone's house. I heard the Kiddush at the Bet Knesset. Is that enough? Do I need to eat there? Should I reply to Amen? Do I have to drink from the wine? Would I go home and drink and do Kiddush for other people? So there's another question about that. Are you on the Zoom able to hear me? Because okay, mute everybody. Okay. Before the class, and then we'll talk about something interesting about Esav and Ishmael, some current events. And you asked me a question about Chesed, Kindness, Tzedakah. The question was, if one wants to give Tzedakah, so we have a number in mind. It happens all the time, especially in the synagogue. Someone sees someone else, or someone hear the auctioneer in the Bet Knesset in Sephardi Shul, they have auctioneers, and he says, "You know what? If I'm going to give up to $100." So you're thinking to give 100, and all of a sudden someone is giving 150. Next time. Now he asks, "Rabbi, I want to give $100." Someone else won the auction. But in my mind, I have the intention to give, to do chesed for $100. Do I still have to give or not? It's a question in the halacha. The people that we call it the pious, the Hasidim, the great tzaddikim, they say, I don't want to have any debts with God. Especially when I know if I give, Hashem gives back. So the halacha says you don't have to, because you didn't verbalize it, you didn't make any commitment. You didn't make any commitment, and therefore you don't have to. Some still, nonetheless, they don't have to, they still give. Still give because they want to be on the safe side. It should not hold you from giving, because other people say, okay, I'm not going to think about the numbers, I have to give the number. I think about a million, I have to give them. You don't have to. This is called giving extra. You give extra, Hashem will give you extra. You didn't have to do it at all. And let me tell you, many times, people in a very bad situation in life, and Amen. And in a very bad situation in life, and they see that prayers doesn't help. Going all the doctors doesn't help. Nothing helps. Whatever they do, they don't help. They get sick and sick and sick, and it gets worse. There was a story about a couple that has no kids. Famous couple. And they went, I think it was Rabbi Steinman, one of the greatest rabbis in Yerushalayim. She is at the age that cannot bear children anymore. Almost, not. She's at the age that it's a low percentage. Put it that way. They try for many, many years. Medication, special treatment, a very expensive treatment. All the advice in the book and in the Google and Shmoogle, nothing helps. Nothing. So they went to the rabbi. And according to their chart, the medical chart, there's no chance she can bear children. But they said, they know they're very religious. They're religious, but they know that there's Hashem can do everything. He can change nature if needed. So they asked the rabbi what to do. And the rabbi said, listen, I can pray for you. You can pray for yourself. But I can give you one advice. You can sit on the table. There's enough room. So there is advice. He says to them, you try to do something that you didn't do before. Take upon yourself a responsibility to do something you didn't do before. Make a commitment. So what they did, they decided they are going to embrace, translating, they're going to embrace and take care of one of the departments in Hadassah and Karem hospital, to go to when the kids are sick, and they will buy candies. Remind me, Be'ezrat Hashem, I don't know if I have it translated, and I have a video of it. You need to remind me, so I'll send it to you. And I hope I remember all the details correctly. So they bought a bunch of candies, Bamba, Bisli, cookies, cakes, waffle. They went through all the department, giving to the kids, and making them happy. And they do every Friday, before they go home, they did a Kiddush there. Because nobody do Kiddush. Kiddush, we're talking. They go Friday after Bet Knesset, they do Kiddush every Friday before they go home. They're all by themselves for years. So they start with Kiddush in the hospital, and then from there, going home. And soon enough, she got pregnant. I don't know how many kids they have today, but it was beyond nature, against all doctors' opinion. So they went back to the Rabbi. I said, you did extra. Hashem did extra for you. You changed your ways. You got out of your ways to make efforts to buy from your own money, to go every Friday. So you have to be very dedicated for it. To do Kiddush, to make this child, to these kids happy, Hashem did extra for you. So going back to what we said, we can do only what we are obligated. According to the book, according to the halacha, it's all fine. But when you do extra, you do the extra mile, Hashem will take the extra mile for you. It's always, this is a rule in Judaism. Hashem always wait for you to do the first step. If you wait for Hashem to do for you, it's never going to happen. Hashem said, Pitchu li petach kepitcho shel ulam. Open a spot, a door for me. Just show me that you are making efforts to fulfill my will, my Torah, my mitzvot, and I'll do many things for you. You open a small open, like a crack, like like in a needle. The needle has a very small kepitcho shel matach. I will open a big hallway door for you. A big doors for you. You just show me with intention. Remind me another. It was a guy in the Moshav in Eretz Israel. It's a farmer. He has finally, Baruch Hashem, a baby boy. This baby boy, Sammy, could not walk. But who walks at the age of 6 months, or 7, or 8, or 1 year? Didn't walk. Almost 2, okay. So let me tell you, this boy 3 years old and is not walking. He's crawling. It's a problem. For parents, it makes them very, very nervous. So one day, his friend told him, listen, you tried everything. Tell the doctor. What do? Go to the Rabbi. The problem is you need to go to the Rabbi before. So not to avoid that. But then, who was there back then in life? The Baba Sali. You heard about the Baba Sali? Baba Sali, the great tzaddik. She said, I don't understand you. The Baba Sali lives very close to you. Less than 10 minutes drive. Why don't you go to him and ask for advice, ask for beracha? What do you have to lose? She said, you know what? You're right. I make efforts. So we went to the Baba Sali, and the Baba Sali looked at him, and he said to him, are you doing Kiddush? Can you just bring chairs and feel free to take chairs and everything? Okay, yeah, thank you. So he said, Rabbi, of course I'm doing Kiddush. Kiddush, what we are studying today. Of course we're doing Kiddush. He says, no. Are you doing Kiddush every Friday? He said, Rabbi, of course, I'm coming back from shul. I'm doing Kiddush. Are you sure you're doing Kiddush? He said, Rabbi, let me tell you, I'm going to the synagogue. After tefillah, I walk all the way home. Oh, I understand. I'm saying before Kiddush, Shalom Aleichem. I say, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. And then I'm doing Eshet Chayil. Eshet Chayil mi yimtza. And then I do the Kiddush. The Rabbi started to look at him and says, are you sure you're doing Kiddush? It's the third time he's asking me this question. What's up with that? He said, maybe go sit down and think about it until I'll come back to me. So he's thinking, he says, what do I do? Let me say, okay, I'm going to tell Rabbi exactly what I'm doing. So I go back to the Rabbi and said, Rabbi, after the tefillah, I'm coming home. I'm taking off, of course, I want to feel comfortable in the Kiddush, to sit, to have patience, not to rush things. So I'm taking the jacket, and I'm taking the tie, and I'm changing to comfortable clothing, and then I do the Shalom Aleichem, and Shet Chayin, I do Kiddush, Rabbi, I do Kiddush. Rabbi says, that's the problem. That's the problem. I say, what's the problem? He says, you do Kiddush with the mundane clothing? This is showing no respect for the Kiddush. You should be with the suit, with the jacket, with the tie, like you came back from the synagogue, and do the Kiddush with most respect. Don't change. You can change, you can change later after Kiddush, fine. But before Kiddush, you must do it properly. He says, are you willing from now on to do the Kiddush properly? So they said, absolutely, I didn't know. I was not aware. I'll do it. And he gave him beracha. Bezrat Hashem, all will be good. It's a true story. The guy himself told that story. We're going back home, opening the door, and who is walking to him slowly? His boy. He almost fainted. Where have you been? I was looking for you. I wanted to call you, telling you, look at our boy. He's walking. Back then, they didn't have cell phones. I'm telling you, I'm amazed. He said, I have to tell you. Before I'm telling you what happened, tell me, what time did he start to walk? She told him, I looked at the clock. That was exactly, I don't remember exactly the time, 8:15. So he calculated the time. He said, you know what? When I said to the Baba Sali, I noticed what time I was there to leave. To make me, and he gave me the beracha, it was 8:15. This is the time when I get the beracha. The power of Kiddush is so great. Sometimes things happen to us in life. Take a chair, please. Sometimes things, if not, there's one over there. Things happen to us during our life, and we're making no connection to spiritual things. What's a beracha or a challah or a wine going to do with my parnasa, with my livelihood, with my health? And let me tell you, the spiritual life, this is what's most important than anything else. The physical life here is to support the spiritual life, because the spiritual life here is the main. When one go before Hashem after 120 years, Hashem won't ask him how many square foot your house were. It was 2,000, 1,500, or 5,000. What car, what model do you have? Was Toyota or Nissan? What was Hashem going to ask you? Open the book. It says, Bereshit bara Elokim. Did you believe in that? Did you wash hands in the morning? Netilat Yadayim. Did you do Kiddush, Tzitzit, family purity, Shabbat? That was going to ask you. And you have to come up with an answers. If you don't prepare ourselves, when we're still here, we're going to stand before Hashem embarrassed. We'll have no answers. No excuses acceptable. When we sing the Kiddush, it's 70 words. With the Savrei Maranan, you can't. 35 is the Veichulu, and 35 is the Kiddush itself. All total is 70 words. This is corresponded the 70 nations that we are. When we say that, we are protected from them. You know, Ishmael is compared, I'm giving you a little bit Kabbalah now. Ishmael is compared to a zarzir, a bird. This is the how they name it in zarzir, and Esav is to orev, two birds. Zarzir, the numerical value, the gematria, is exactly 424, and orev 278. Total is 702. What's 702? Gematria Shabbat. Shabbat is exactly 7. You keep Shabbat, you can sweeten the power of these two nations. Am Israel is always in the middle, in between these two guys. Take Ishmael. What is the holy day for them? Friday. Esav, Sunday. Who is in the middle? The Jews, Shabbat. Shabbat is the power that separates between them. You keep Shabbat, they cannot control you. There's something called klipot. I don't know if you're familiar with these terms. It's a shell, and they are very strong klipot, very strong shell. So, with us keeping Shabbat, doing the Kiddush, we're protecting the world. So these guys won't go together and destroy the world. So who wants to join to this power, to control these strong powers? Yishmael in one hand and Esav. All those who do Kiddush properly, with respect, with fancy clothing, to the honor of Shabbat. Okay? Be'ezrat Hashem, in the future we will study about how should I dress up for Shabbat, because it's also important so people will know that they have to dedicate special clothing for Shabbat and holidays, not to use the mundane clothing. You don't use simple jeans or even if it's a fancy jeans or I don't know, hoodie, what do you call this? A jacket. Buy yourself nice clothing, even special nice shoes. Dedicate them only for Shabbat and Yom Tov. Special shirt, special suit. Don't worry. These expenses that you spend for Shabbat and for Yom Tov, Hashem will give back, guaranteed. So why not to buy? So, Amen. So we're going to continue Be'ezrat Hashem with just concluding about the wine. We've learned that everybody needs to hear the beracha correctly, word by word. The Baal Habayit, the one that said the beracha, is to have intention for everybody to fulfill the mitzvah by hearing his brachot, and they fulfill the mitzvah by listening to this. Okay, and we're done with this part. Anybody has any questions? You need to understand, no one... Huh? Sorry? Okay. Question?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, okay, where exactly does it say that to do Kiddush? Like what part of the Torah does it say that commands us?
There's a pasuk says, Zachor v'shamor bedibur echad. The Talmud teaches us, Zachor, Zochrehu alayayin. You make a memorable, something like event with wine, something that will be remembered over a wine. So it's said in the Torah, or I would say it's hinted in the Torah, but the halacha always come from the oral Torah. You don't ever study halacha from the Torah itself. The Torah is only titles. And you want to learn halacha, it's from the Shulchan Aruch or the Rambam, even not from the Talmud. Okay, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
So it's from there, and it's a must, and we have to do it twice every Shabbat, in the morning, in the evening, and in the morning. Okay? So we have to do Kiddush. Now, if I say Kiddush, I have to taste from the wine. I say the beracha, I have to drink, right? What about the participant? Each and every one has to try to taste from the wine? And if they didn't, they didn't fulfill the mitzvah of Kiddush? What if I'm allergic? What if someone is, God forbid, diabetic? What if someone just doesn't feel like he wants to have wine right now? Or it happens also in my house once, we didn't have the juice, the grape juice. So I used a regular dry wine. And my kids can't drink it. They don't like it. My wife don't like it. And now we're wondering if they didn't taste from it, they fulfill the mitzvah of Kiddush. And you understand the question?
Yes.
Answer? You want to answer?
Yes.
The halacha is the following. It is best that all those who participate in the meal take a sip of the wine used for Kiddush to display their affection for the mitzvah.
Just a sip.
Just sip. You don't have to drink. Maybe if you taste, it's just enough. You're showing that you favor the mitzvot. You like the mitzvot. Fine? Now the question is, I didn't drink. Did I do Kiddush or not? Do I have to drink? So we learn now, it's best to make effort, meaning you don't have to display their affection for the mitzvah. The common custom is that when all those present at the meal are members of one family, everyone drinks from the cup over which Kiddush was recited. In some homes, the custom is that after one drinks, one wipes off the rim of the cup. I will talk about it in a second. If there are guests at the table who are not family members and who are not comfortable with drinking from the same cup that the others drank from, the person who recited Kiddush may pour a bit of the wine into another cup or cups so that the guest can also taste the wine of Kiddush. Especially today, I don't have to explain it too hard. We know with all viruses and even before Corona, we know that it's been, the Talmud talks about it, not to drink from even water and give your friend, drinking from a bottle and give to your friend to drink. Even from a bottle of water. Why? Because it might be too delicate, sensitive, and in order to not to insult you, he will drink from it, but he will discuss from it, and he will get sick after that. Mentally get sick. You know? People got, because of this kind of thing, is very, very sick. So it's important to keep hygiene all the time and to keep clean all the time. So what I do in Kiddush for Shabbat, I do the Kiddush, and then do I drink from it, and then pour everybody? But if I drink from my lips, also touch the wine. So we know all the germs that people have. It's not healthy. It won't be appropriate. So what's the solution? There's two main solutions. One is to take, can I have a cup? Give me a cup for a second. I don't want to, oh, that's mine?
Yeah.
Okay, to that. So after finishing the Kiddush, I can pour a little bit, take the second cup, and drink from it. That's what I do. Now this one, did I touch it with my lips?
No.
So it's clean.
Yes.
I pass it. Any one of the guests, or the family member even, pour for themselves. It's all good. It's clean. Comprende? Capish? Capash. Now, there's another solution. Is to take this cup, to pour all of it almost, and leave a little bit. And I drink from the cup I did the Kiddush over. Some says it's even better.
Drink right away.
Right away. You pour and you drink right away. You don't wait. You choose any method, it's good. Just keep it clean, keep it simple, so everybody feel comfortable to drink from the wine. Now, we've learned already that you don't have to. But it's a good thing to show that I'm participating in the mitzvah. So even if it's a very, dry wine that you don't like, just take a sip. Sorry. If you can't even stand that, you still don't have to. But you should know, when you do this extra, Hashem will do extra for you. You take the extra mile, Hashem will take the extra mile for you. Okay? That's for that. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו.
Rabbi,
So, Ken.
if the wine in the cup is not enough for the others,
You can always add. It's not enough, add.
okay.
Always add to the wine that you did the beracha from. You did the blessing over it. Some in large crowd, for example, we were in the yeshiva. When I was in yeshiva, you're talking about hundreds of students.
Yeah.
When the Rabbi do Kiddush, by the time we give, it's going to take an hour to pass. So what we have, every table has a wine. Before the rabbi started, my rabbi started, we pour a little bit. We're all holding it. When he said the beracha, we drank from it. So we have our intention to his beracha cover the wines we have in our cups. We also had hamotzi. We also had bread next to us. The rabbi made the beracha hamotzi, and then we took from the hamotzi in front of us. But this is when you have a large crowd. Ken yirbu. Amen. So, if someone at the table does not taste the wine, he nevertheless has fulfilled the mitzvah of Kiddush. This is true for both the nighttime Kiddush and the daytime Kiddush. The entire reason for tasting the wine is only to display our affection for the mitzvah. Make sense? Okay, any questions? Now, I'm going to tell you something that I think many don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You know how the halacha is very strict about don't say bracha again. If you don't know, you're not sure, don't say bracha, because you don't want to say Hashem's name in vain. Maybe you did say bracha. For example, I want to drink from the cup now. I says, did I say Shakol a minute ago? 5 minutes ago? I forgot. Let me just say it. No, don't say bracha. Shh. It's better to drink, even if you didn't say bracha, without bracha, than say bracha twice. Because you're saying Baruch Ata Amo. You can say Hashem's name whenever you like. So when you have a doubt in laws that related to rabbinical laws, blessing is rabbinical laws, not from the Torah. So you're lenient. You're saying, I'm not going to say the bracha. Don't say it. With any other food. Did I say bracha over the banana? Over this food? Did I say Asher Yatzar when I came out of the restroom? Don't say it if you don't remember. There's nobody else there to remind you. Don't say it. On a very special occasion, you need to say the beracha again. You know when? Right now. When? Someone did a Kiddush. And he goes like that. Can you please close the door over there? Before he drink, what did he do? He talked. He talked. He now created a break between the holy bracha and the tasting. At this moment, they're saying to him, stop everything, do the beracha again. You messed it up. You see how important it is? How important it is to say bracha, and immediately the action, eat, drink, light candles, whatever. Okay? Otherwise, we're in a big trouble. So focus. Don't let anybody interrupt you. Make sure that you are in an environment that will allow you to say the beracha properly. If someone recited Kiddush and then spoke before tasting the wine, he must recite the blessing Bore Priya Gefen over again. What about the whole Kiddush? Are you going to say the whole prayer before? No. Just the Bore Priya Gefen. He does not need to recite the blessing of Kiddush over again. Okay. it happens also when someone wants to drink, for example, he didn't talk, but the wine spill. Fell off the floor and spill. You have to say the baracha again. Someone has a bottle. There's a bottle. They're looking for a cup. There's no cup. And asking, Rabbi, can I just do a kiddush over the wine in the bottle and drink from the bottle? I have a cup. You see how Judaism making up questions all the time.
Thank you.
He doesn't have a cup.
Telling you, no. So the answer is yes, you can. Yes, you can. And right.
From the bottom.
That's what you have. If someone, let me see if I have it here. Yes, if the only cup available for kiddush is one with a very narrow mouth, such as a soft drink bottle, it may be used, even if it is the mouth of it and cannot see, even if it's the color outside is dark and you can't see the wine in it, because usually the wine, when we say in kiddush, we're looking at the wine, right?
Yeah.
But here it's a bottle, you can't see anything. Right? Even if it's so narrow you can see the wine inside, it is sufficient to look at the outer surface of the cup during the kiddush or the bottle. It is what it is. We had this question just lately. I have it almost every Shabbat. Depends where you do the kiddush. If you can do kiddush over a foam cup or paper cup or plastic cup. Okay, exactly. It is if it is permissible to use a disposable cup for kiddush, whether plastic or paper. If another cup is available, however, it is preferable to use it and not a disposable cup, since that is more honorable for the mitzvah. Obviously, if you have it, you have it. You don't have it, you use what you have.
So we cannot use disposable? You can.
You can, in case you don't have regular cup. So, please remember, you don't say kiddush over wine that is spoiled, or wine that it was exposed in the open whole night. Sometimes people do kiddush and they have wine open and they come in the morning and it was not covered. So because the halacha says we don't like to waste, especially a wine that we did kiddush over. Sometimes you have 3/4, half cup. I tell you, full. What are you going to do with it? So what people do, they take the bottom, they cover on it. They come in the morning, they just add, and they do kiddush. Say you come in the morning, you go to the table, Shabbat table, and you see the cup is there, was not covered. The halacha is don't drink from it. Especially back then when they have a lot of animals around them, and more than once a snake would come in and drink from it and leave venomous stuff in it, and people died from it. So the sages made a decree not to ever drink from such things. And I give you an advice for every drink you have, always cover it. Even you have coffee in the office, that's what I do here. When I have in my station, when I work, I have coffee. And I have a plate that keeps it warm. I can keep it warm 3-4 hours. Even more, but till I finish it. So sometimes it takes a long time. And I go sometimes out, in. Who knows what can come into it? A bug, a mosquito, who knows? So what I do, I take something and then covering it. When I want to drink, I take it over and I drink. And now I'm in control because I'm sitting next to it. About the wine, it's even more because some animals they're attracted to the sweetness there or the smell that comes out of it. Now, there is something we call Baal Tashchit. Baal Tashchit. No waste. No waste. Don't waste food, don't waste anything that someone else can use. And remember, we discussed that many times about to show Hashem appreciation for everything He gave us. So I can't throw food. You have food, give it to someone else. You don't like, give it to someone else. You have extra, try to save it. Freezer. Eat it another day. Give it to the birds. Give it to the animals. Just don't trash it. What about the wine? So there's a very simple solution. Is to do the following. You have wine on it. You don't pour it as is to the cup. You need to take from the bottle. You pour it a little bit to the wine, and then it's you know the kedusha that has in it. Now you become regular, okay? Because you have the intention to put it back, and then after you pour from it to the cup, then you can put it back to the. Listen to this. It's the intention. On Shabbat, when you do Kiddush and you want to add, you didn't cancel the Kedusha because you have intention that everybody enjoy. It's still okay. You remember the story with the Baba Sali, the intention. The guy didn't keep Shabbat yet. He didn't put his special clothing from the shul. He just have intention to fulfill the mitzvah. And his son already started walk. Intention, what you have in mind, is very important in Judaism, in the Torah. You know that you can worship idols, avodah zarah, with your mind only. And this is the only avera, the only sin that you can commit with doing nothing. I can only have in mind this glass. I'm going to do it for Shisus, Misos, Chisus, I don't know the name, Kammad, call the names, for the sake of these whatever names. You know what I mean? This is avodah zarah. I didn't do anything. Everybody will see me just drinking. But what did I have in mind? For the sake of avodah zarah. Which reminds me that I asked a question and I got an answer for one of the students that is here. Damaris, you gave me an answer. You forgot? I need to give you the prize.
That was a strong question.
I couldn't find the answer in Google.
No.
So what's the
answer?
Sorry, I had to leave the broadcast in the meantime. Wow. So this is Be'ezrat Hashem going to you with special beracha, birkat habayit, for answering the question. You'll take it Be'ezrat Hashem later after the class, okay? Oh, this is too big. What was the answer? What was the question? Who remember the question? It's again a mitzvah that you can do, a constant mitzvah.
You can do while being funny.
You can do just by thinking about them. Just by thinking about the mitzvot, you fulfill a mitzvah every second. Right now, you're looking at the window, you can have a mitzvah. You're driving, you have a mitzvah. It's called the 6 constant mitzvot. Mitzvot that you can do at all time, takes no efforts, no money, nothing. 6. The first one is to know that there is God. If you told yourself right now, there is God, you fulfill the mitzvah. Secondly, not to believe in any other God. There's no other God. Another mitzvah. 6 constant mitzvah. The third one is to know that God is
One.
So you can have in mind saying Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 4, to love God. 5, to be in awe of God, fear God, be in awe of God. And the 6th one, not to be led astray by our desires. So in life, we have in home or outside, things that we see and can lead us to go and follow these things that are not appropriate. For example, on our phone, we see something inappropriate. Shut it off. Say, no, it's against the halacha. You see a woman that she's not modest, don't look. You know, one of the Admorim, take your eyes away. This is one of the tests that Hashem putting us on a daily basis. So obviously, that's not appropriate to go to the beach where it's co-ed, right? Halachically, it's a big problem. It's forbidden. One of when the great Rabbi says, if you walk on the street or in the mall, and you see from a distance a non-modest woman coming toward you, in that moment you turn or you put your eyes down and you don't look because the evil inclination pushing you to take a look. At that moment when you do that, he says everything, if you pass the test, everything that you ask, one thing you ask, Hashem will give you. L'chaim.
Strong question.
Did you find the answer in Google?
But let me tell you, she works hard. I saw she sent me a picture of the whole paper she wrote, back and forth. So efforts, you put efforts into things, you get them. Okay? You want, Bezashem, remind me, I might give you a question for next week.
Not too hard like that.
What time is it? Okay, wow.
It's not in the Shulchan Aruch.
It's in the introduction to the Sefer HaChinuch. Sefer HaChinuch, in the introduction, it says that clearly. In the introduction. The 6 constant mitzvot, please, you can Google it. Just write yourself if you want the 6 constant mitzvot, and you have more information about how you can fulfill it. They giving in Israel, I saw just recently I saw people have magnets and card like that. They put it in the car, and every time they go in, they see it and remember that they can fulfill a lot of mitzvot free and easily. Okay. What is the mitzvah? White or red wine? And what if the white one is more expensive? Red wine, $10. White wine, $100. It is best to recite Kiddush over red wine. The custom of Sephardic Jews is to give preference to red wine for Kiddush, even if the white wine is a superior quality. If the white wine has some pinkish tint to it, however, and it is also superior to the red wine, the white wine has preference. But it's under condition that it's not really white, it has some pinkish color. You know what? Question for homework. I'm giving a prize. Easy one. Why red wine is preferable? Natalie.
Sorry, what happened today?
Did you hear the question?
What's the question? Why the red wine is?
Why red wine is preferable according to Sephardim?
Is that the homework now?
Homework. Easy.
In Kiddush.
The first one to give me a full answer, I'm giving the prize.
We don't know the answer yet.
Okay, don't look it now. Do after Bezat Hashem.
I know the answer.
Someone says.
Wait. Yeah.
So text me after class.
Look at WhatsApp. I don't have your phone number.
Okay, so look for it. I think you're on the WhatsApp group, Natalie.
Not me.
You're not?
I'm not sending 10 messages every day. It's mean I'm not.
So if you'll be on the group, you will send 10 messages?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to put you on the group. What if I have a little bit red wine, not enough, a quarter of a cup, and I have a white one? The advice we give is to mix. Put some of the one and mix and make it red with what you have, the leftover or whatever. A segula, a remedy, a blessing for having your parnasa never lack. So you'll always be able to pay your bills. You'll always be able to put food on the table. You will never have a lack of livelihood. Is bal tashchit, what I mentioned before. Don't waste. When you show Hashem appreciation for everything He gives you, He will make sure you will never lack. Remember what we said? Also with this little wine, you don't throw away. If the food is not spoiled, you use it. Okay? Or give it or share it or whatever. Wine must be, of course, kosher according to Sephardim. According to Sephardim, it must be the mass majority, over 80%, 90% wine, not mixed with water. If it's mixed with water, some wines are more than 50% mixed with water. It's not valid, it's not kosher. The blessing is in vain because this is not wine, this is water. Always spend money with joy over good stuff for Shabbat and Yom Tov. Don't be cheap, don't be stingy. Make efforts, get the good wine, best wine.
But why can we drink kedem?
Kedem is good.
Yeah, but why? Because isn't it preferable to drink wine?
No, not necessarily. It's preferable. You're talking about alcoholic wine?
No, kedem, like the grape juice.
Grape juice is good. I'm using it
Why
because everybody can use it.
She's saying
Grape
wine
juice and wine is the
better
same.
than alcoholic
When I say wine,
She's
why
saying
we
why is
use-
it better than alcoholic wine? Or what's the
No,
difference between
I mean,
using
like
grape
candy,
juice
but
and
you were
alcoholic?
really emphasizing wine, which we do kiddush with wine.
when I say
But
wine, it
I'm
means
saying-
grape juice as well. It's also considered wine. But it is preferable, according to some opinion, to use wine because wine has a little bit alcohol and it gives you just a little bit lightheaded and give you a joy and you start
I'm not
to...
complaining, I use wine.
Right, you start to tell jokes and don't go crazy, you know. They can just take a sip, not to take the whole bottle.
Uh-oh.
So...
The percent is 80%, right?
At least, it should have something that is not mixed with water. I think on the Kedem's bottle, it says that it's not mixed with water, no water added. I think that's what it says on the bottle, if I remember correctly. Now a question. Rabbi, you said that, but I was in a family that the owner of the family is Ashkenazi, and he used that wine, mostly water, in his Kiddush. What am I going to do? Did I fulfill the mitzvah? If I have to do the Kiddush, I wouldn't use his wine. To me, it's not kosher. But for him, it's kosher. It was a little bit more than 50%. Did I fulfill the mitzvah? Do you understand the question?
Yes.
Answer? No? Who says no?
Me.
Question. Ashkenazim can use wine that's a little bit more 50% wine. Let's say it's 55% wine and the rest is water. For them, is good. And I was in someone's house, and this is the Kiddush. I'm giving you a scenario, okay? And he did Kiddush over such a wine that I cannot use. For him, it's good according to his rabbis. It's good enough. Sephardi rabbi is not good. But what can I do? I'm a guest. Did I fulfill the mitzvah? Yes or no?
Oh, in that case,
Yes, because you can't go home and get your own wine.
You can do the kiddush by yourself.
Over what? A wine that I would not use at home?
But this only one that you have.
you need to do kiddush.
What is it?
As long as you hear
As long as I hear what?
the kiddush.
Kiddush from someone that for him is?
For him, it's valid.
It's okay, it's valid, it's enough. So the halacha is, nevertheless, a Sephardic Jew who listened to an Ashkenazic Jew recite Kiddush or Havdalah for him using wine that is more than 50% water, does fulfill the mitzvah of Kiddush or Havdalah. Here the case is even worse. It's more than 50% water. Since the Ashkenazic Jew is reciting Kiddush correctly according to the poskim, his rabbi, he follows. It is a valid Kiddush for the Sephardic Jews as well. Okay? So if one Jew, for him it's good enough, for me, it's not the best for me, but I'll act according to my poskim when I'm in my domain, in my home. Make sense?
When we buy a wine, does it say there 50% water?
Yeah, some of them says, and in Israel, people knows the kind of wine that they've been using it for years. So they know this style is 50%, this style is only 40% wine. For some, the mass majority, I think, today
Would it
is
say 100% also?
over 80% wine because they mix it with water in order to get more profit.
What happens if someone makes the
But the law requires them to write that down.
There's a sign that is kosher. There's a hexer.
Of course it's kosher because water is kosher.
So there's a hexer.
The water is kosher, mix it with kosher juice, kosher.
And why is it that it's not accepted in Sephardic?
Because the definition of wine is wine and wine only, not mixing it with water.
Is there such thing as
For example, for the Ammonite, they did not fulfill the mitzvah. It has to be completely wine. You don't trick me with water. You do the Kiddush with wine. You want to add later water, add later water. It's no problem. Why don't you sit maybe in another... Who is this? Shalom Aleichem. Okay. Any questions?
There is 100% wine?
Is there such thing as 100% wine? If you want to do wine, only
Absolutely. Of course. Bring me the kedem.
I only buy the grape juice.
Grape juice. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to go to some controversial halacha.
But that's not wine.
Yes.
Okay, תסתכל, כתוב לי פה, תסתכל if it's blend with water or something. Okay. Question, yes.
If someone does Kiddush with wine that's not 80% wine, and he notices after he does the Kiddush,
You fulfill the mitzvah. Done. Done. Because there is some opinion that he can rely on, but it's not best. It's not lechatchila.
Water.
It's 100%.
It says 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Even on the nutrition, because it's
So we will always see the label.
So you have
read
to
the
check
label,
100%.
Okay, I don't have time to look at it right now, but
it says on the front 100%
there's
grape
a-
juice.
100% grape juice. You know, they can write 100% even if they're adding a certain percentage, according to the law. Even if regular orange juice, they can still write 100% even if they add, I don't know, 10 or 15% water. It's still considered 100%. But if you want to take a look, maybe you'll find the small letters. Okay, so I'm going to read a halacha that we've never learned before, but I think we all should know about it. And maybe it will answer many of your questions. This is the halacha, whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, this is the halacha. The halacha is in regards to a book I'm saying, a Kiddush, that someone is doing and he is not Shomer Shabbat, doesn't keep Shabbat, secular, Chiloni.
Okay.
There is a thing about a Jew and a non-Jew together on the same table, and the non-Jew is either cooking food or touching wine. It's a whole halachot that you need to study yourself if you want. I don't have time to share with you. I'm just giving you the main things, the juice.
So it doesn't say a percentage, but it does say grape juice and then grape juice concentrate, and then filtered water is the last ingredient.
So there is some water in
there
it.
is one. Wow.
Okay, so maybe I saw it in another bottle. No water added or something like that. אוקיי, תסתכל שם, תראה אם יש שם בקבוק שכתוב no water added, אולי על אחד אחר. So, why? There is, I'll give you two reasons why a non-Jew should not touch. The halacha is that you should, we cannot drink from a non-Jew touching a wine. Because a non-Jew, those who are idol worshiper, okay, they can touch the wine, and that's what they do all the time. They touch the wine and says, this wine I'm dedicated to the blood or so-and-so.
Yeah.
Immediately they turn it to an idol worshipping, and it's called yain nesech. The wine is disqualified, it's invalid.
Yeah.
It's not valid anymore. So, another reason we're not supposed to drink wine with non-Jews, because it brings together friendship. Friendship, you see my daughter, you saw my son, they're going to make them married together, yada yada, it happens all the time. Partying together, event together, that's what happened. You need to understand, Friday, Sunday, Shabbat.
Yeah.
Separation. For a good reason. The non-Jews has their role in this world, and the Jews has their roles in this world. Everyone has his job to do. If you want to be part of the Jewish people, you may join, no problem. You become not regular Jew, you become extra, because they're treating the Gerim even with more respect. Okay? Now, So that's about the answer. By the way, the sample scheme says that a non-Jew doesn't have even to touch the wine. There's two kinds of wine. One that it's called regular wine, and wine that it's called mevushal, cooked. Cooked. They cook it to 80 degrees Celsius in order to kill the germs. And this wine, even if a non-Jew touch it, it's okay. Why? Because back then the priests of the idols or churches, they never used such wine that is low quality after cooking it, using the best wine to respect their religion. So they never used the cooked one. Since they never used the cooked one is permitted even if a non-Jew touched it. So you will see on most wine it says yayin mevushal. I don't know if you saw these small letters. Cooked wine. Cooked wine. Cooked wine, even if a non-Jew. So you see in restaurants, there's a non-Jew waiter. He knows already the halacha. He brings the bottle to you with bottle opener. You open it yourself. There's a lot of restriction. The rabbis put fence so in order for us not to mix. You understand where we no, right? It's more halacha. I'm just giving you the halacha in a nutshell.
It's a cooked wine, and does it stays in the bottle?
It's called pasteurized.
It's pasteurized. It's cooked. Pasteurized. They boil it. Not boiling it, or 80%. Boiling it will destroy it. Up to 80%, it's enough to kill the germs. Now, what I said to you, it's a Jew versus non-Jew. But you'll be surprised that it's a Jew versus another Jew as well. Which Jew? Mechalel Shabbat. Someone that doesn't keep Shabbat. Someone that is secular. He has the status of like a non-Jew. If you're Jewish, why don't you keep Shabbat? So what's the case if, let's say, God forbid, I invited my own brother that he doesn't, let's say he's not religious. Baruch Hashem, my brother is, but your own family to the table, and your father, let's say your father is secular, and he touched the wine, or he says more than that, I'm going to do Kiddush, or he's the one who's doing Kiddush at home, but he doesn't keep Shabbat. Many does that. They do Kiddush and then they drive to the cinema. I don't know, they go to a club. They think it's permitted. So he comes to your home, and now you debate. He comes from Israel, he's visiting you. You want to give him to respect to do Kiddush, but he doesn't keep Shabbat. It's not valid there. What you going to do? You see the problems we are facing sometimes, and how we need to trick the system in order not to offend anybody. So the halacha says the following. If someone plans to have a guest for Friday evening meal who publicly desecrate the Shabbat, it's called Chiloni, it's called secular, it happens all the time. You saw these people in my table as well. That's what many of the rabbis do. What they do, they invite them in order to show them how to Shabbat. It's outreach, right? So they keep Shabbat in the future. But the fact of the matter is that they don't keep Shabbat right now. And he wants to open a bottle, sometimes the bottle that they brought themselves, they want to open it and pour it to you. So we're not going to face a problem. We might have a problem here. And, okay, so he desecrated the Shabbat. And one suspects that the guest will pour the wine. The correct thing to do is to heat the wine in a pot until it has boiled for several minutes. Meaning, I know before Shabbat that they're going to have, this is talking about time that they have wines in barrels and at home, they make their own wine. Not today, everything is easy. It says on the bottle, yayin mevushal. If the yayin mevushal is already cooked, it's no problem. Once he has done this, cooked the wine, or he has the cooked wine, he may invite the non-observant guest to drink from the wine, and the guest may pour for himself and for others as he pleases. So you have to look into these details when you're inviting and make sure that it happens sometimes that a guest himself, people that they don't come empty-handed. When they're invited, they bring something. So they bring whiskey, vodka, they bring alcohol. Usually they bring wine. If they're not religious, they don't know the difference. They'll pick up whatever they find. Or whatever they find, they think it will be suitable for the event. Some of the wines, it says, not mevushal. And now you have a case, you have a problem. You have on the table wine, there's mevushal that you are afraid that they might be involved in taking and opening, and it's against the halacha. So you have to be very delicate. You have to know your thing. Huh? It's not so easy. I don't remember ever I said to anybody in the face that is disqualified. I don't want to hurt their feelings. But I tricked the system. Once, it happened more than once. They brought. That's what they brought. I saw, and I said, hold on. I brought 3 or 4 other of mine. I said, let's start with this. By the time we get to this, and then we cut Amazon, finish. Okay.
I was not
Or I had once, and the guy said, "No, Rabbi, you have to try this one." No, Give it. I got you. You have to try this one.
Oh no.
I said, well, what's so special? I said, no, you have to try it. And I'm seeing holding the bottles, and he wants to pour. And I know it's against Allah. I said, you mean it's so special? He says, you don't even know. I said, let me see it. And I took a look and said, wow, get me the opal banana. I opened it, and I did. And I poured it. I said, let me serve you. It's honor for me to serve to you. You are my guest. You have to trick it. You have to work it out nicely so no one will get on. I can sit down and tell the Allah, no, you're disqualified. You're inviting him to insult him.
But it happened. But
I said it in a nice way. I'm sorry, there's no nectar in the wine. We can't use it
Right.
for the Rosh Hashanah.
Right. It happens to my house as well. Someone brought me a wine, a big bottle, and it was a K triangle. K triangle. I couldn't use it. K triangle. It's a big wine. I think it's called Magen David. It's a big wine. You can get it at Walmart and other places. It's not kosher. So I told them after the meal, it's going to be a waste. We don't recommend this echsher. Take it. Okay. Anyways, let me finish this halacha. See how it's not so easy. I think we conclude with this halacha for today. So he may invite, and this is pleases. Right. If this was not done, the host must be careful to pour the wine for Kiddush by himself. And after reciting Kiddush, he should pour a bit of wine into a separate cup for the non-observant guest. Whatever portion of the wine that the guest does not drink must be disposed of. You see how the halacha is very strict about these kind of things, because it led to many, many troubles and problems later. Okay, and this is the time when we're saying, Hashem, you know better. You said that in the Torah. There's something called Yain Nesech. You should not drink their wine. I'm with you, Hashem. I care about what you think. That's my main concern. If a guest took the initiative to pour the wine, okay. If the guest took the initiative to pour the wine for his host without asking, and the situation is such that refusing to use the wine will cause a great deal of friction and anger on the part of the guest. It happens with guests, family members, father, brother, sister, you name it. Like we mentioned before. The host must decide what to do based on the guest's attitude toward Shabbat. If he recognizes that Shabbat is a special day and attends the prayers in the synagogue in honor of the Shabbat each week, and it happens all the time, they respect Shabbat, but they don't keep Shabbat. Meaning, they come to synagogue, and then they go out, put the kippah down, and they drive home. At least, in Judaism, we appreciate that they know the significance of Shabbat. They're just far away. They don't know that it's very bad to drive on Shabbat, or to go to watch TV, or use your phone, or whatever. But at least they come to the synagogue, the Orthodox synagogue. They just need to learn. They don't know. They grew up like that. You'll be amazed how much people don't know about Shabbat. It is possible to rely on the poskim, the rabbis who ruled that such a person does not descend to the status of a non-Jew. Most wines produced in the land of Israel are pasteurized and are considered wine that has been cooked. As such, no one who touches the wine affects its status. Since there are some wines produced there that are not pasteurized or cooked at all, one should examine the label on each bottle one purchases to ascertain whether or not it has been pasteurized. Let me conclude with saying, if one finds oneself in a situation where the person reciting Kiddush publicly desecrates the Shabbat, he doesn't keep Shabbat and he's doing Kiddush, and one has no option to recite Kiddush for oneself, there is a basis to rely upon to fulfill one's obligation by listening to this individual. If possible, one should recite Kiddush in a whisper along with that person, while fixing one's eyes on the cup of wine in his hand. So your father insists, and you have to give him to do the Kiddush, and there is no way out. You let him do the Kiddush, you do it with him quietly, but look at the cup like you holding it. So your intention, your blessing is over a kosher wine, just your father is holding it, or brother or any other guest. Did we cover all angles about this? Any questions?
I have a question.
Good. Yes, go ahead.
So you said that the minimum amount is the 3 ounces. Are there any other requirements for the Kiddush cup? Like, does it need to have anything?
Any fancy cup or special cup is valid. You need to be dipped in the mikveh or give it to a non-Jew and borrow it back from them, and then it may be used. It's actually a little bit less than 3 ounces, 0.26 something, but I'm saying 3 so everybody remember. It's very round number. So I would say if you are only a couple, don't buy the big cups. Buy the smallest one, so you don't have too much waste. Just a regular one. And then spend money on a very nice cup. We use for Shabbat and holidays. But the minimum amount should be put in this cup would be no less than 3 ounces. It's best to fill it up almost to the top. I would say in percentage, 90%. This is considered a full cup. When I ask someone, one of my kids, make me tea, please. When you give me a cup, which is all the way up to here, it's considered a full cup. Some people, they pour it all the way up till it spills, because they said there's beracha, there's blessing in it. But if it spills, you have to take from the plate under it, pour it back, or drink from it. Usually people don't drink from it, and this is a waste. Remember we said about waste? Because it's a wine for beracha. There's kedusha in it. What are you doing? Same with everything. When you want to do this, you can pour a little bit. Just a little bit, few drops, not the whole cup. There's no point. And it's segula. People take that, put it on the forehead, put it in the pockets. Segula for the pockets, yeah. Segula, okay, it is what it is. Now, any questions before we continue? You remember the questions for homework, right? I want to say toda rabba to those who fix the table for the next 3 weeks. Baruch Hashem, my wife is in Eretz Israel, so anybody that wants to volunteer, help me setting up the table, or take upon himself the mitzvah, please let me know for next week, because today, thank God, my daughter came at the last minute to fix it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have food on the table. I'm sorry, I was just too busy. Thank you for all those who are supporting Ohev Israel Foundation. I want to thank you. I want to take a video to everybody who see who are participating here. You can, after that, share it with anybody you want. On behalf of Ohev Israel Foundation, I want to thank everybody that comes to this class. This is on Zoom. We have so many people on Zoom today, only 3. and I'm one of the 3rd. Okay, bye. On behalf of Ohev Israel for the Foundation, I'll meet you next week, same time, same place, 7 o'clock. Make effort, bevakasha, please. Be on time. Thank you.